I stood at the back of the church, watching my grandfather's funeral from a safe distance. Not that anyone noticed, or wanted to notice, the prodigal granddaughter's return. My name is Audrey, and I've spent the last 5 years being the family disappointment. Today I wore that title like armour. "I'm surprised you showed up," came a whisper from behind me. My sister Livia, perfectly coiffed in designer black, lips pressed into a thin line of disapproval. "He was my grandfather too," I replied, keeping my voice steady. The morning light filtered through stained glass, casting coloured shadows across the mahogany casket. "Was he? You haven't exactly been around." She adjusted her pearl necklace. A gift from Aunt Catherine, no doubt. Everything in this family came with strings attached. I didn't respond. What could I say? That I'd tried to visit but was blocked at every turn? That choosing art school over law school had somehow marked me as irredeemable? The service dragged on, filled with hollow praise from people who barely knew him. I caught glimpses of familiar faces: Cousin Corbin in his $1,000 suit, Aunt Catherine dabbing dry eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, Cousin Lily stealing glances my way with what looked like genuine sympathy. After the final prayer, Davis, the family lawyer, cleared his throat. "The reading of the will is scheduled for 7 tonight at the estate. All named parties are expected to attend." Aunt Catherine's head snapped up. "Tonight? Why so soon?" "Mr. Whitfield's explicit instructions," Davis replied, clutching his leather briefcase like a shield. I turned to leave, but Nestor, the estate manager, caught my arm. His weathered face carried a hint of something. Concern. "You should come tonight, Miss Audrey." "I'm probably not even in the will," I said, attempting a laugh that came out more bitter than intended. "Just come." He squeezed my arm gently before disappearing into the crowd. I spent the afternoon walking the city, trying to decide what to do. 5 years ago I'd left this place with nothing but my art supplies and a determination to live authentically. Now I was back, feeling like that scared 25-year-old all over again. The estate loomed before me at 6:55 p.m., its Georgian columns casting long shadows across the manicured lawn. I'd grown up here, but it had never felt like home, more like a museum where I couldn't touch anything. "Well, well," Corbin's voice dripped with disdain as I entered the library. "The artist graces us with her presence." "Hello to you too, Corbin." I took a seat near the door, as far from the others as possible. The room smelled of leather and old money. Catherine didn't even look up from her phone. Livia whispered something to Lily, who shifted uncomfortably in her chair. The tension was thick enough to cut with a palette knife. Davis entered precisely at 7, accompanied by Nestor. The lawyer's hands trembled slightly as he opened his briefcase. "Let's begin," he said, pulling out a thick envelope. "The last will and testament of Robert James Whitfield." I zoned out as he read through the expected bequests. The summer house to Catherine, the London apartment to Livia, trust funds for Corbin and Lily, business shares divided among the appropriate parties. My name wasn't mentioned once. I was about to leave when Davis paused, reaching for a sealed envelope I hadn't noticed before. His voice changed, becoming almost apologetic. "There is one final clause, written and notarized 1 week before Mr. Whitfield's passing." Catherine's perfectly manicured nails dug into her armrest. "What final clause?" Davis broke the seal, hands still shaking. "I, Robert James Whitfield, being of sound mind and body, do hereby revoke all previous bequests and designate my entire estate, including all properties, business holdings, and liquid assets valued at approximately $2.3 million to my granddaughter Audrey." The room exploded. "Impossible!" Catherine shot to her feet. "This is a joke," Corbin snarled. Livia turned white as a sheet. But Davis wasn't finished. He raised his voice over the chaos. "To the one they called a disappointment, the only one who ever lived her truth, I leave everything. She alone has earned it." I sat frozen, my heart pounding so hard I could barely hear the continuing uproar. Nestor caught my eye from across the room and gave me the smallest of nods. "This will not stand," Catherine declared, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "We'll contest it." Davis pulled out another document. "Mr. Whitfield anticipated that. He left this for you, Catherine. Shall I read it now, or would you prefer to review it privately?" She snatched the paper from his hands, her face growing paler with each line she read. I stood up, my legs surprisingly steady. "Thank you, Davis. I think we're done here." As I reached the door, Nestor pressed something into my hand, a sealed envelope with my name written in my grandfather's familiar scrawl. "He left this for you," he whispered, "for your eyes only." I clutched the letter, feeling its weight, not just in paper, but in secrets waiting to be revealed. Behind me, the chaos continued, but for the first time in years, I felt strangely, wonderfully free. I found sanctuary in Grandfather's study, my hands trembling as I held his letter. Behind me, I could still hear Catherine's shrill voice echoing through the halls, demanding answers from Davis. "You can't hide in here forever," Lily said softly from the doorway. I hadn't even heard her approach. "Watch me try." I managed a weak smile. Of all my cousins, Lily had been the only one who'd ever shown me kindness. She stepped inside, closing the door against the chaos. "They're losing their minds out there. Corbyn's already on the phone with his legal team." "Of course he is." I ran my fingers over the envelope's seal. "Did you know about this?" No one did, not even Catherine, and she thought she knew everything about Grandfather's affairs. Lily perched on the edge of his massive oak desk. "Are you going to read it?" Before I could answer, the door burst open. Catherine stormed in, her perfect composure finally cracking. "This is absurd," she spat. "You haven't been part of this family for years. You threw away everything we built." "Everything you built?" I stood up, surprising myself with my steadiness. "You mean everything you manipulated and controlled?" "How dare you? No, how dare you?" I cut her off. "For years you made me feel worthless because I wouldn't follow your precious plan. Law school, corporate ladder, family legacy. Did you ever stop to think that maybe there was more than one way to build a life?" Livia appeared in the doorway, Corbyn right behind her. "You abandoned us, Audrey. You can't just waltz back in and take everything." "I didn't take anything," I said. "Grandfather gave it to me, and I'm starting to wonder why." Corbyn stepped forward, his lawyer mask firmly in place. "The will won't hold up in court. You must have influenced him somehow." "I haven't spoken to him in 5 years," I shouted, my composure finally breaking. "You made sure of that, remember?" The room fell silent. Lily shifted uncomfortably. "What are you talking about?" she asked. I pulled out my phone, scrolling to an old email I'd kept all these years. 3 years ago, I tried to visit him in the hospital after his heart surgery. The nurse said family only. When I explained I was his granddaughter, she showed me an approved visitor list with my name explicitly banned. Catherine's face remained impassive, but I caught the slight twitch in her jaw. "That was for his own good," Livia said. "You upset him with your choices." Did I? I finally broke the seal on the letter. Let's see what Grandfather has to say about that. My hands shook as I unfolded the paper. The handwriting was shaky but clear. "My dearest Audrey, by now they'll be circling like vultures, telling you how you don't deserve this. They're wrong. I watched for years as they tried to force you into their mould, and I watched you break free instead. It cost you everything, or so they made you believe. The truth is, you were the only one strong enough to resist their manipulation. Catherine has been siphoning money from the family trusts for years. Corbyn has been falsifying legal documents. Livia helped them isolate you because she was jealous of your spirit. I have proof of everything. Davis has all the documentation. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you this while I was alive. They watched me too closely, but I could watch them, and I did. Every scheme, every lie, every manipulation. I documented it all. You were never a disappointment, Audrey. You were my hope. Love, Grandfather." I looked up from the letter to find the room dead silent. Catherine's face had gone ash white. Davis, I called out, knowing he was hovering nearby. He appeared instantly. Is what he's saying true? About the proof? He nodded, pulling a USB drive from his pocket. Mr. Whitfield kept meticulous records. Bank statements, security footage, recorded conversations, everything. Corbin lunged for the drive, but Nestor appeared out of nowhere, blocking his path. I wouldn't, the estate manager said quietly. Security cameras are running, Mr. Corbin. Think carefully about your next move. I stood up, tucking both the letter and the drive safely away. I want everyone off the property by midnight. You can collect your personal belongings, but everything else stays. You can't do this, Catherine whispered, but her voice had lost its edge. Actually, I can, and I am. I walked to the door, then turned back. Oh, and Catherine, check your email. Davis has already forwarded the proof of your embezzlement to the board of directors at your firm. I hear they take financial crimes very seriously. As I walked out, Lily followed me. Audrey, wait, I had no idea about any of this. I paused, studying her face. I believe you. You can stay if you want. We have a lot to talk about. Behind us, I could hear Catherine's carefully constructed world crumbling. But for the first time in years, I felt the weight of family expectations lifting from my shoulders. Grandfather had given me more than just his money. He'd given me the truth, and the truth, it turned out, was the best revenge of all. The next morning, I walked through the empty halls of what was now my house, my footsteps echoing against marble floors. Lily had stayed the night, sleeping in her old room, while the others had cleared out their immediate belongings under Nestor's watchful eye. Miss Audrey, Nestor appeared with a steaming cup of coffee. There's something you should see in your grandfather's study. I followed him, sipping the coffee, made exactly how I liked it. He'd remembered after all these years. The study looked different in daylight. Grandfather's presence lingered in every detail, the worn leather chair, the row of fountain pens, the faint smell of pipe tobacco. Nestor walked to the desk and pressed a hidden button underneath. A panel in the bookshelf slid open. He called it his truth cabinet, Nestor explained, pulling out an old tape recorder and several notebooks. Started keeping records after your first art show, when Catherine tried to prevent him from attending. What? I nearly dropped my coffee. He was going to come? He did come, sat in the back, left before you could see him. Nestor pressed play on the recorder. Grandfather's voice filled the room, dated 3 years ago. Catherine threatened to contest my competency if I publicly supported Audrey's art career. Says it would damage the family's reputation. Ridiculous. The girl has talent, real talent, not like these corporate puppets they're trying to create. I sank into his chair, overwhelmed. He saw my work. Every show. Lily appeared in the doorway, looking tired but determined. I helped him track your exhibitions. He had me buy pieces through different names so Catherine wouldn't know. My eyes burned with tears. Why didn't he ever tell me? Because of this. Nestor pulled out a legal document. Catherine had power of attorney. One wrong move, and she could have had him declared incompetent. He was playing the long game. A knock at the door made us all jump. Davis entered carrying his briefcase. The banks have been notified, he said. You have full control of all accounts, and... He hesitated. There's been a development with Catherine. What kind of development? She's trying to access the offshore accounts, the ones she thought nobody knew about. He smiled grimly. Your grandfather left very specific instructions for this scenario. I leaned forward. Tell me. The accounts are booby-trapped. Any attempt to access them triggers an automatic alert to financial authorities. She's walking right into his trap. Lily gasped. That's brilliant. There's more, Nestor said, pulling out another tape. This one was labelled Catherine's Confession. The recording started with Catherine's voice, sharp with anger. Of course I had to control everything. This family would have fallen apart. Audrey was poisoning his mind with her artistic nonsense. The money I took was insurance. When was this? I asked. 2 months ago. She didn't know about the recording system in his office. Nestor's eyes twinkled. Your grandfather may have seemed old-fashioned, but he had quite the technical setup. A commotion downstairs interrupted us. Livia's voice carried up the stairs. "Audrey, we need to talk." I looked at Lily, who nodded. "I'll handle her." But before she could leave, Livia burst in. Her designer outfit was wrinkled, her eyes wild. "The board's suspended, Catherine," she blurted out. "They're launching an investigation. This is your fault." "No," I said calmly. "This is Catherine's fault, and yours, and Corbyn's. We were protecting the family. You were protecting yourselves." I played the confession tape. Livia's face crumpled as she heard Catherine's voice, admitting to years of manipulation. "I didn't know," she whispered. "About the money, I mean. I just thought—" "You thought what? That crushing my dreams was for my own good?" Tears streaked her makeup. "I was jealous, okay? You had the courage to be different, to want something else. I've been miserable at the firm for years, but I was too scared to admit it." The confession hung in the air. I studied my sister's face, seeing past the perfect facade to the trapped person beneath. "Well," I said finally, "it's never too late to change." "What do you mean?" "I'm turning this place into an art foundation. We'll need someone with business experience on the board." I met her eyes. "Someone who understands both worlds." Hope flickered across her face, quickly replaced by suspicion. "Why would you trust me?" "I don't, not yet, but grandfather believed in second chances." I gestured to the recordings. "He gave us all one, in his own way." Livia sank into a chair, looking lost. "Catherine will never forgive any of us." "That's her choice." I picked up another tape, this one labelled Final Thoughts. "But I'm done letting her choices control my life." As if on cue, my phone buzzed with a news alert. "Prominent attorney Catherine under investigation for financial misconduct." Lily read it over my shoulder and whispered, "The house of cards is falling." "Good," I said, hitting play on grandfather's final recording. His voice, weak but determined, filled the room. "Remember, Audrey, the truth doesn't need defending. It just needs to be set free." I looked around at the faces in the room. Lily's support, Livia's uncertainty, Nesta's quiet pride, Davis's satisfaction, and felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about revenge anymore, it was about restoration. The eviction notices felt heavy in my hands as I walked up the path to Catherine's house on the estate grounds. Security guards flanked me, Nestor's idea, not mine, but I knew they were necessary. Catherine opened the door before I could knock. "Come to gloat?" "No." I held out the envelope. "You have 48 hours to vacate the premises." She snatched the paper, her perfectly manicured nails tearing the envelope. "You're making a terrible mistake." "Actually, I'm correcting several." I turned to leave, but stopped. "Oh, and Catherine, the police want to speak with you about those offshore accounts." Her face contorted. "You have no idea what you're doing. This family needs to face reality," I cut her off. "Your reality show is cancelled." Next stop was Corbyn's guest house. He was already packing, expensive suits strewn across furniture. "Don't bother with the eviction notice," he said without looking up. "I'm leaving." "Good, but you should know. Grandfather kept records of every legal document you falsified." He froze. "You're bluffing." I pulled out my phone and played a recording. Corbyn's voice, clear as day, discussing with Catherine how to backdate trust documents. "The Bar Association might be interested in this," I said. Unless what?" His voice cracked. "Unless you sign a confession detailing Catherine's involvement in everything. Your choice." He grabbed a pen. "Give me the papers." Back at the main house, Lily was waiting with news. "Livia's been calling non-stop. She says Catherine's planning something." "Of course she is." I sank into a chair. "But what?" The answer came an hour later when Davis rushed in, waving papers. "Catherine's filed an emergency injunction. She's claiming elder abuse, says you manipulated Robert in his final days." I laughed. I hadn't seen him in 5 years. "She has a witness." Davis looked grim. "The private nurse." "The one she hired?" Nestor appeared, carrying a folder. Interesting timing. Perhaps she should see this. He handed me surveillance photos. Catherine meeting with the nurse weeks before grandfather's death, exchanging envelopes. He documented everything, didn't he? I whispered. Everything. Nestor smiled, including the nurse accepting bribes. My phone buzzed. Corbyn's signed confession had been emailed to Davis. Perfect timing. What are you going to do? Lily asked. I forwarded the surveillance photos to Catherine with a simple message. Drop the injunction or these go public. Your choice. The response came within minutes. You bitch. Followed by injunction withdrawn. That's one fire put out, Davis said, but she won't stop. No, I agreed, she won't. A commotion outside drew us to the windows. Livia was arguing with security at the gate, demanding entry. Let her in, I told the guards through the intercom. She stormed into the study, face flushed. Catherine's lost it. She's talking about exposing family secrets, destroying everyone. What secrets? Lily asked. Everything. The illegal deals, the blackmail, even... She hesitated. Even what really happened to Mum? The room went silent. Our mother's car accident had always seemed convenient, right after she'd threatened to divorce Dad and expose the family's business practices. What do you know about Mum? My voice was barely a whisper. Livia's eyes filled with tears. Catherine has photos. From that night, she made sure Mum's brakes failed. The world tilted. Lily grabbed my arm, steadying me. Where are these photos? Davis demanded. In her safe, at her other house. Livia wrung her hands. She's going there now. I turned to Nestor. Call the police. Tell them everything. Already done, he said, holding up his phone. They're on their way to intercept her. Hours later, we watched the news together. Prominent attorney arrested on multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit murder. Corbyn's confession had opened the floodgates. The evidence was overwhelming. Catherine's carefully constructed empire was crashing down, taking her defenders with it. What happens now? Lily asked softly. I walked to grandfather's desk, running my fingers along the worn wood. Now we rebuild, but differently. The foundation? Livia asked. Yes, but first... I pulled out more envelopes. These are for you both. Contracts. Lily, I want you on the board of directors. Livia, we need a legal advisor who knows where all the bodies are buried. They stared at the papers. Why trust us? Livia whispered. Because you chose truth when it mattered, and because... I smiled. Grandfather left instructions about second chances. Lily signed immediately. Livia hesitated, then followed suit. Catherine will still try to fight from jail, Livia warned. Let her. I looked around the study at the family portraits watching us. Some people never learn that the truth isn't their enemy. As if agreeing, the setting sun streamed through the windows, illuminating grandfather's empty chair. In the golden light, I could almost see him nodding in approval. The house felt different now, lighter, like it could finally breathe. So could I. The morning after Catherine's arrest, Lily burst into my room, her laptop clutched to her chest. You need to see this. She opened her email, showing me a chain of messages from 5 years ago. My hands shook as I read them. From Corbyn to Livia. Subject, Operation Damage Control. We need to handle the Audrey situation. Grandfather's starting to ask questions about her art show. Catherine suggests we present evidence of her unstable lifestyle. Get creative. The next email was Livia's response. Already on it. I've doctored some photos to make it look like she's involved in drugs. Catherine says this should be enough to convince him she's spiralling. There's more, Lily said quietly. So much more. I scrolled through dozens of emails detailing their campaign to discredit me. Photos manipulated, rumours spread, even fake concerned calls to grandfather about my erratic behaviour. Where did you get these? Grandfather's backup server. He saved everything. Lily touched my arm. Audrey, there's something else. About the night you left. A knock interrupted us. Livia stood in the doorway, pale as she spotted the laptop. "You found them." "Did you really hate me that much?" I asked, my voice surprisingly calm. "I didn't hate you." She stepped into the room. "I envied you. You were his favourite." "Favourite?" I laughed bitterly. "I was the family outcast." "No, you were the one he respected. He bragged about your art to his friends when Catherine wasn't around. He kept a folder of your gallery reviews in his desk." "That doesn't excuse what you did," Lily interjected. Livia's composure cracked. "You don't understand. Catherine had dirt on everyone. She threatened to expose Dad's affairs if I didn't help her destroy Audrey's reputation." "And Mom's death?" I stood up. "Did you know about that too?" "No, I swear, I only found out recently." Tears streamed down her face. "Catherine controlled everything. She made us all complicit." "Show her the video," Lily said quietly. My heart stopped. "What video?" Lily pulled up a file on the laptop. Security footage from 5 years ago played, showing Catherine in Grandfather's study late at night, removing something from a hidden safe. "Watch," Lily whispered. On screen, Catherine pulled out a stack of photos. The timestamp showed this was the night before Mum's accident. "Grandfather had cameras everywhere," Lily explained. "He knew Catherine was blackmailing Mum. He just couldn't prove it in time." Livia sank into a chair. "I remember that night. Catherine came to my room, made me swear I'd never tell anyone what I'd heard through the walls. Mum screaming at her, threatening to go public about the embezzlement. The door opened again. Davis entered with a thick file. "The police found something at Catherine's house, letters from your mother, documenting everything." My hands trembled as I took the file. Mum's familiar handwriting filled page after page with detailed accounts of Catherine's crimes. "She was building a case," Davis explained, "planning to take it to the authorities, until Catherine stopped her." The words tasted like ash in my mouth. Livia stepped forward. "I want to make this right. I'll testify about everything I know." "Why now?" I demanded. "Because I'm tired of living in Catherine's shadow, of being afraid." She pulled out her phone, showing me a text from Catherine sent just before her arrest. "If I go down, you all go down with me." "She's still trying to control us from jail," Lily observed. "Not anymore." I picked up my phone, dialing Nestor. "Get the security team ready. We're going to Catherine's house, her real house, not the estate property. There's a safe we need to find." Hours later, with police supervision and a warrant Davis had quickly obtained, we stood in Catherine's home office. The safe was hidden behind a painting. Classic Catherine, always dramatic. The combination. The police detective looked at me. "Try 05-2187, Livia suggested. "Mum's accident date. Catherine's sick enough to use that." The safe clicked open. Inside, we found everything. The original photos of Mum's car after Catherine's tampering. Documentation of years of blackmail. A list of every family member's secrets, ready to be weaponized. "This is..." the detective whistled. "This is enough for multiple additional charges." I watched as they bagged the evidence, each piece another nail in Catherine's coffin. Livia stood beside me, tears flowing freely now. "I'm so sorry, Audrey, for everything." I looked at my sister, really looked at her. Behind the perfect facade, I saw someone as trapped as I had been, just in a different way. "I don't forgive you yet," I said honestly, "but I understand better now." Lily appeared with more files from Catherine's desk. "There's something else you should see. Plans for the foundation property. She was going to turn it into luxury condos." I almost laughed. Of course she was. "What are you going to do instead?" Livia asked quietly. Looking around at Catherine's sterile, loveless house, I knew exactly what I wanted. "I'm going to make it everything she hated," I said. "A place for art, creativity and truth. A place where no one has to pretend anymore." For the first time in years, Livia smiled. A real smile, not her practiced one. "Can I help?" "We'll see," I said. "First, we have more truth to uncover." The security footage hit the news on a Tuesday morning. I watched from grandfather's study as Catherine's carefully constructed image crumbled on national television. Breaking news: shocking evidence reveals prominent attorney's involvement in fatal car accident from 5 years ago. Lily muted the TV. Corbyn's agreed to testify. His statement just came in. I took the papers she offered. His confession was detailed, damning, and mentioned names we hadn't expected. 3 judges? I looked up at Davis, who nodded grimly. Catherine had half the city's legal system in her pocket, he confirmed. The DA's office is having a field day. Nestor entered with fresh coffee and a stack of newspapers. The board members are here for the foundation meeting. Already? I glanced at my watch. I thought that was at 11. It's 11:30, Lily said gently. You've been reading case files all morning. The conference room was filled with faces I'd carefully selected over the past week. Arts educators, community leaders, and one very nervous-looking Livia. Before we begin, I announced, standing at the head of the table, I want to be clear about our mission. This foundation isn't about revenge, it's about restoration. And redemption? Livia asked quietly. For those who earn it. I spread out the blueprints. The East Wing will be converted into art studios. The West Wing becomes a gallery space. The gardens will host outdoor sculptures. Catherine's going to lose her mind, someone muttered. Catherine's going to lose a lot more than that, Davis interjected, entering with fresh documents. The DA just added conspiracy charges. They found offshore accounts linked to the judges. A knock at the door interrupted us. Nestor entered with a young woman I didn't recognize. This is Maria, he said. She was your mother's assistant. She has something you need to hear. Maria twisted her hands nervously. I've been afraid to come forward, but after seeing the news. She pulled out an old phone. I kept this. Your mother gave it to me the day before it happened. She said if anything happened to her, I should hide it. The room fell silent as she pressed play on a voice memo. Catherine, I have copies of everything. The falsified documents, the embezzlement records, everything. Back off my daughter's art career, or it all goes public. And if anything happens to me or Audrey, I've arranged for it all to be released automatically. This is your only warning. My mother's voice, strong and clear, filled the room. The timestamp showed it was recorded just hours before her accident. There's more, Maria said. Text messages, emails, photos. Get this to the DA immediately, Davis instructed, already reaching for his phone. The foundation meeting dissolved into controlled chaos as everyone processed this new information. I slipped out to the garden, needing air. Livia followed me. Did you know Mum was protecting you like that? No. I stared at the rose bushes Mum had loved. I thought she was disappointed in me too. Catherine made sure we all thought the worst of each other. Livia touched my arm. But Mum was building a case to protect you, to protect all of us. My phone buzzed. A message from the prison. Catherine wanted to see me. Don't go, Livia pleaded when I told her. It's another manipulation. No, I said. It's karma, and I want to see her face when she learns about Mum's phone. The prison visiting room was cold and sterile. Catherine sat across from me, still somehow managing to look elegant in orange. Come to gloat? She asked, just like she had at the eviction. I placed Mum's phone on the table between us. Come to deliver karma? She recognised it immediately. Her perfect mask cracked. Where did you get that? Mum had contingency plans. Maria kept this safe for years, waiting for the right moment. Maria? Real fear flickered across Catherine's face. My Maria? Mum's Maria, I corrected. She was loyal to Mum, not you. Just like Nestor was loyal to grandfather, not you. Just like everyone will know the truth now, not your version of it. You have no idea what you're doing, she hissed. I protected this family. You destroyed this family. And now? I stood up. Now you get to watch as we rebuild it without you. I'll appeal. I have connections. Had connections, I corrected. Check the news. Those judges you owned? They're being arrested as we speak. I walked to the door, then turned back. Oh, and Catherine, the Foundation's first exhibition, it's going to be Mum's photography. All those beautiful shots you tried to discourage her from pursuing. Turns out Grandfather kept every single one. Her face contorted with rage, but I was already walking away. Outside, Lily and Livia waited in the car. How did it go? Lily asked. Exactly as Mum would have wanted. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in years. Let's go home. We have an art foundation to build. As we drove away, I could almost hear Mum's voice. Live your truth, sweetheart, no matter what anyone says. Finally, after all these years, I was doing just that. 3 weeks after Catherine's arrest, Corbin showed up at the estate gates. The security camera showed him looking dishevelled, nothing like his usual polished self. Let him in, I told Nestor, but stay close. Corbin's expensive suit was wrinkled, his eyes haunted. He carried a thick manila envelope. Before you throw me out, he said quickly, there's something you need to see. I led him to the study where Lily and Livia were reviewing foundation paperwork. They both tensed at his appearance. Make it quick, I said, taking the envelope. Inside were documents, dozens of them, bank transfers, emails and photographs dating back 15 years, all showing Catherine's systematic destruction of anyone who opposed her. She kept files on everyone, Corbin explained, his voice hoarse. Insurance, she called it. I found these in her beach house safe. Why bring them to me? I asked. He sank into a chair, suddenly looking very young. Because I'm tired, and because... He pulled out one more photo. She had this too. The image showed a teenage Corbin, crying as Catherine gripped his arm, her face twisted in rage. The timestamp matched his first year of law school. She caught me trying to quit law school, he said quietly. I wanted to be a teacher. She convinced me otherwise. Lily moved closer to examine the documents. These could help the prosecution. I know. Corbin met my eyes. That's why I'm here. I'm ready to tell them everything. Everything? Livia pressed. Everything. The fake documents, the blackmail, how she forced us all to play our parts. He laughed bitterly. You know what's funny? I actually believed I was one of her favourites. Turns out I was just another puppet. The intercom buzzed. Nestor's voice came through. Miss Audrey, Davis is here with the DA. Perfect timing. The next few hours were a blur of statements and signatures. Corbin's testimony, combined with the new evidence, sealed Catherine's fate. The DA was practically glowing. This is better than we hoped, she said, packing up the files. With this, she's looking at 20 years minimum. After they left, Corbin lingered. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. You're right, I cut him off. You don't, not yet. But, I looked at Lily, who nodded slightly. The Foundation is opening a youth education programme. We need someone to coordinate with local schools. Hope flickered across his face. Teaching? Under supervision, I clarified, and after you've completed the restoration project. What restoration project? I handed him a folder. Inside were photos of Mum's old darkroom, now dusty and abandoned. Catherine tried to erase Mum's legacy, I explained. You're going to help us bring it back. Later that evening, as Corbin worked on clearing out the darkroom, Davis arrived with another envelope. From your grandfather, he said. He left instructions to deliver this once Catherine was formally charged. Inside was a single sheet of paper and a key. My dearest Audrey, if you're reading this, the truth has finally come to light. The key opens the vault beneath the library. My real vault, not the one Catherine knew about. Inside you'll find something I've been saving for the right moment. Love, Grandfather. We found the hidden door behind a loose panel. The vault was small but packed with treasures, including a collection of Mum's photographs we'd never seen before. Look at these, Lily breathed, holding up a series of black and white prints. They showed all of us as children, caught in candid moments of joy and creativity. She was documenting everything, Livia realised, All the moments Catherine tried to suppress. Another box held letters, decades of correspondence between Mum and Grandfather, revealing their secret alliance to protect us from Catherine's influence. They never gave up, I whispered, reading their words. They were fighting for us the whole time. The last item was a large envelope marked for the opening. Inside was a complete exhibition plan, Mum's photographs paired with Grandfather's commentary, telling the true story of our family. "This is it," I said, looking at my sister and cousin. "This is how we start over." Corbin appeared in the doorway, dust in his hair from the darkroom. "The space is almost cleared. We found more negatives hidden in the walls." "Good." I handed him a photograph, his younger self smiling at a group of children he was tutoring. "Remember him?" He touched the image gently. I thought Catherine destroyed all evidence of my teaching work. "Mum saved everything that mattered." I stood up. "Now it's our turn to save things that matter." As we carried the boxes upstairs, I caught glimpses of our reflections in the windows. No longer perfect poses and forced smiles, but real people, slightly messy, slightly broken, but healing. The estate felt different now. Where Catherine's presence had once filled every corner with fear and manipulation, now there was possibility, hope, and somewhere I knew Mum and Grandfather were watching, finally seeing their long game pay off. "Ready for tomorrow?" Lily asked as we reached the top of the stairs. I looked at our small, damaged, healing family and smiled. "Ready." The gallery buzzed with excitement as visitors moved from photograph to photograph. Mum's work filled the walls, candid family moments, artistic portraits, and documentary-style shots that told our true story. "Is it true?" A young art student touched my arm. "About Catherine?" "Every word." I gestured to the central installation, a timeline of photographs and documents showing Catherine's web of manipulation, ending with her conviction papers. 25 years, Lily whispered, appearing beside me. The judge showed no mercy. "Neither did she," I replied, watching Corbin guide a group of high school students through the exhibition. He'd found his calling in teaching, his voice animated as he explained Mum's artistic techniques. Livia approached with an elderly woman who looked vaguely familiar. "Audrey, you remember Mrs. Patterson? She was Mum's first photography mentor." "Of course." The memories flooded back. Afternoons watching Mum develop prints while Mrs. Patterson offered gentle guidance. "Thank you for coming." "I wouldn't miss it." She squeezed my hand. "Your mother would be so proud, not just of the art, but of how you've all broken free." A commotion near the entrance drew our attention. Davis rushed in, waving papers. "It's done," he announced. "Catherine's appeals were denied. And there's more. The FBI found her last hidden account, the one she thought no one could trace." "Let me guess," I said. "Grandfather already knew about it?" "Better." Davis grinned. "Your mother did. She's the one who left the trail for them to follow." Nestor appeared with a package. "This just arrived from the storage facility Catherine used. You'll want to see this." Inside was a photo album I'd never seen before. The first page showed Mum and Grandfather, heads bent together over what looked like legal documents. "That was the day they started building the case," Nestor explained. "Your mother knew Catherine would eventually destroy herself with her own pride. They just had to wait it out. And protect as many people as they could along the way," Lily added, pointing to a series of photos showing Grandfather secretly attending school plays, art shows and graduations Catherine had banned him from. A teenage girl approached, her arms full of art supplies. "Miss Audrey, I wanted to show you something." She opened her sketchbook to reveal a portrait of our family, not the perfect posed version Catherine had demanded, but the real one. Messy, complicated, healing. "This is for the student exhibition next month," she explained, "if that's okay." "It's perfect," I said, recognizing in her the same need for authentic expression that had driven me away from Catherine's influence. "Would you like to hear the story behind it?" As I began to explain, more students gathered around. I saw Corbin watching from across the room, a peaceful expression replacing his usual sharp-edged anxiety. Livia touched my arm. "Look who's here." In the doorway stood Maria, clutching Mum's old phone. "I found more recording," she said. "Your mother, she left messages for each of you for when you were ready." We gathered in Grandfather's study, now my studio, to listen. Mum's voice filled the room, strong and clear. "My darling children, if you're hearing this, you've finally broken free. Remember, art isn't just about creating beauty, it's about revealing truth. Catherine feared that most of all, but you've learned to embrace it." Tears flowed freely as we listened to her individual messages to each of us, words of love, of understanding, of hope. The last recording was different, dated just hours before her death. "Robert, if they're listening to this, your plan worked. You protected them long enough for the truth to emerge. Thank you for believing in us, all of us." Lily wiped her eyes. "They never lost faith." "No," I agreed, looking around at our transformed family. "And neither did we." The sound of laughter drifted up from the gallery below, where students were now setting up easels for an impromptu art class. Corbyn's voice carried up the stairs as he explained composition techniques. "Ready to go back down?" Livia asked. I touched the last photograph in the album, Mum and Grandfather in the garden, both smiling secretly at the camera. "Yes," I said, "we have a lot more truth to share." As we descended the stairs, I caught glimpses of our reflections again, no longer haunted by Catherine's shadow, no longer trying to fit someone else's mould. The gallery hummed with life, art students sketching, visitors discussing photographs, Corbyn teaching, Lily organising the next exhibition, Livia talking with potential donors. This was our legacy now. Not Catherine's perfectly controlled empire, but something real, something true. A student raised her hand. "Ms. Audrey, could you tell us about this photograph?" I smiled, recognising the image, Mum's last self-portrait, taken the day she decided to fight back. "Of course," I said, "it's a story about truth and art and the courage to be exactly who you are, just like she'd always wanted for us, just like we finally were."